Teach me, baby. Call my phone and say you need me, baby. Oh, I forgot how to pounce on him, bruh. I do have a pounce. I remember that. When did I take that guy down? I don't remember that. Teach me, baby. Call my phone and say you need me, baby. Inverted takedown. He has to be right under me, bro. Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, shit. I didn't know he could see me. Well, I guess I should have. He had the little bad thing on. I forgot. I'm the sneakiest motherfucker that's ever been alive. Teach me, baby. Call my phone and say you need me, baby. Super kick. I'm looking for Poison Ivy, and it seems like she's not in here. Oh shit. Hang. Bat mode. Teach me, baby. Call my phone and say you need me. Oh shit. What the fuck? Oh no. Oh god. Of course you did, Joker. Last video I was talking about how what I can't say his name. Raskolnikov? Raskolnikov? I don't know if the Russian accent helped there or hurt, but I was talking about how the beginning sequence is setting up his weird thoughts and all of that. Because, you know, he goes see the old lady, he pawns his watch, he's talking about the layout of her apartment and how, oh shit, oh I thought someone was up here, cool. How the sun's gonna hit. Most of the book follows kind of a pattern. Talk to a random person, thoughts about murder, talk to a random person, thoughts about murder, talk to a random person, thoughts about murder. The problems really line up, at least so far for me. I don't think it's a bad book at all. I'm enjoying parts of it, but some of it, oh, there we go. Some of it I'm not enjoying as much, just because there's not a lot of emotional buy-in. A character really only gets emotional in random conversations with other characters, or like there's no internal emotion, it's all external factors that cause him being emotional. It doesn't work as well when you have, oh shit, what the fuck, holy fuck. It doesn't work as well when the characters that cause his external emotion aren't, you know, you're not emotionally connected to them. Like, for example, I think it is chapter 4. It's chapter 3 or 4. It's a letter from his mother, and it pretty much goes into his sister is getting married or has plans to get married to this man. And this man essentially talks to his mom and says that a husband should never be indebted to his wife, and that the husband should be the benefactor for his wife. Essentially saying, you know, the husband should be praised and appreciated, and the wife should owe him everything. What? Fucking hit him, Batman. Jesus. Fucking, can we please? Oh, Jesus. God damn, how do you drain my health like that? Hold on. I need to figure out the button. Oh, it's one of those. It's got to be one of those. Cape stun. I didn't even know I could do that. So, yeah, he gets a letter from his mom talking about his sister's marriage and, you know, how they're low on money, etc. And his mom is also saying that she's pretty much saying his sister is getting married to this man because he's rich and they need money and he needs money for school, so she's kind of sacrificing herself. But the emotional buy-in doesn't really hit that hard because this is the only time we've heard about his mom and his sister, and it's a dump of a letter that is like 15 or like 12-15 pages long in chapter 3 or 4. And I think that's one of my bigger problems so far, is I like the book, but I have no emotional buy-in into what anyone's really doing or feeling or planning, because especially Raskolnikov, I feel like that's not how you say his name. Raskolnikov. That sounds better. But essentially he's not really emotional in his head, and he's only emotional from external circumstances. So by the time he's emotional because of that, we're not connected to any of those characters. Yeah, because it's hard to buy into the emotional investment with some of the, like, with the main character or people who are making him emotional. The number one thing that's keeping me interested is pretty much the murder plot. And the problem with the murder plot is that he spends a lot of his internal thoughts, or like they pop up a lot, about murdering the old tradeswoman, or like fencing woman, whatever you want to call her. So those thoughts pop up a lot, and in, I think it's chapter 3, or it's the same chapter, he gets a letter. A maid comes into the apartment he's living in, and, like, gives him shit because all he does is sit around and think all day, and describes him as a monomaniac, or the Dostoevsky would have been, I'm really bad with the Russian names. Dostoevsky describes him as a monomaniac. My interpretation of him describing him like that was that he's a monomaniac about thinking. Like, that's his one sole obsession, is that he just thinks a lot. So when he thinks about killing the old woman, this is like all he's thinking about. It's like one of his obsessions. I don't want to say what ruins it. It's not ruined, but I just expected more from the payoff so far, because it's all he thinks about. But his plan is currently, he figured out, I think it's chapter 5 or 6, he figures out that she's going to be home alone from 6 to 7 on a particular day through her sister. And when he knows this, there's a big monologue about how it's kind of like it's time and his fate's already decided, and the impulse of, killing her is like going through. But his plan is pretty much, he lives in this apartment. He's going to take an axe from the kitchen, walk to her house, kill her with an axe, because it has to be an axe, and then walk back and put the axe back. And I don't know. I kind of figured, since it's all he thinks about, he would have come up with a better plan. Because to me, at least, it's like Imperial Russia, 1866 Russia. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say it probably wasn't super hard to get away with murder in 1866, not even just in Russia, probably fucking anywhere. Like, there's no DNA, there's no cameras. It's pretty much just, it's eyewitness accounts, and that's about it. So his plan being murder someone he has contact with and be seen at a place he's been seen at before isn't really, it's not the best murder plot I've ever heard. And it also is very drawn out, I'm about 75, 80 pages in. And it's all been about the murder, either directly or indirectly. So part of me expected a better murder plot from him. And maybe I was just going into the novel expecting a different thing than it was going for. It also just surprised me because he does kind of boast about his intelligence in a lot of ways. He constantly brings up that he's a student, but I'm guessing in this time period in Russia, it's not super common to be a student, or, it's not easy to do that, because he's also essentially laid off of school because he doesn't have money to continue school. But we're led to believe he's supposed to be kind of smart or intelligent, and then he comes up with a pretty awful murder plan And also at this point in the book, I'm going to be honest, like 75 pages in, 80 pages in, which would be about like 1/4, 1/5, depending on which version you're reading of the book. I'm tired of hearing the rambling, and it's about time he just kills the old lady, which, you're not supposed to root for the murderer in a murder book, but we're about at that point right now. And it's not even because he has any real justification, which is another problem, because he does have justification. Like, obviously, there is some reasoning for why he wants to murder the old lady, but it essentially boils down to he is poor, everybody else is poor, and this old lady is, she's like a trader, fencer. She gives people money. She's a money loaner too, and she gives money for objects and stuff and loans out money to people because they don't have it. So his justification we get through this random part in the book where he's talking about going to the bar and overhearing 2 students talk about this lady and saying, oh, she's awful, she's evil, she treats her sister like shit. She has all this money that's gonna go to a church after she dies. And then apparently in this conversation that he overheard, the student is going, someone should kill her. Like, someone should kill her and take her money because it could do a lot of good for people, and it's not going to do any good going to the church, and that's where she's going to take it. Oh, it's crouch and Y. To do the grounded attack, I need to figure that the fuck out because it's taking me way too long to beat up all these mentally ill people. So we overhear this conversation in a bar, and apparently, from his perspective, I'm assuming, it is what he heard, because the actual conversation is pretty unrealistic. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just misjudging what it was like in 1866 Russia. But this student is just rambling in this bar and saying, someone really needs to kill this lady. We should kill her. We need to kill her. Please, someone kill her. Like, he's just saying it over and over again. He's like, yeah, someone needs to take her money and do something good with it. So essentially, his justification is just, he's poor. This lady got money, so he's going to kill her, steal her money. Which... it makes sense. It's not bad justification. That happens all the time. But I think I expected a tiny bit more. But yeah, his entire justification essentially stems from, he's poor, he needs money. This lady has money. She's not gonna help anybody with it. So, she deserves to die so her money can go somewhere better. And the combination of all of that just loses some of the curiosity for me, because so far things just haven't connected, and it's pretty much just been conversation, thoughts about murder, conversation, thoughts about murder, conversation, thoughts about murder, and that's just kind of how it's chalked up to be. And we're getting to the point where he's like about to kill her. Like, the point I'm reading right now, he's talking about sewing an axe into his jacket so he can conceal it, walk into her house, and fucking axing her to death. So, I think I had higher hopes for how we got here, but I'm also only like 1/5, 1/4 into the whole book. So I think maybe the latter half of the book after it happens might be the part that's more interesting than necessarily the lead up. I've gone the complete wrong direction. She was in the botanical gardens, as I theorized. And I walked over here for no fucking reason. And the main protagonist, Raskolnikov, is also just he comes off whiny to me, because he's kind of just whining about stuff that is valid. If you're starving, you can't go to school, you're poor as fuck, you have no Yeezys, then, you know, you're probably not going to be super happy. But none of it is really like murder tier so far. I just thought there was going to be some justification that made it a bit more morally ambiguous when it came to the actual murder. Like, oh, is he right? Is he wrong? Is he this? Is he that? And to me, so far, the answer is no. It's pretty clear cut and dry. Just, you know, he's gonna murder this lady for no other reason than money, which, you know, that's fine. Maybe I just went in expecting something different than what the novel's going for. The novel spends so much time on suffering that it's almost like every single interaction in this book, observation in this book is just like straight suffering, straight Gotham energy. Like, people are getting fucking beaten in the streets. Everybody's on drugs. Everybody's out to do something bad just constantly, which I'm sure he's making commentary on real issues that were going on at the time. That's not a question to me at all. Like, I'm sure this is rooted in something real, but it's also like, at this point, there's so much suffering that it doesn't really hit emotionally, because that's all the book is discussing. The best thing I can say, which is pretty fitting because I'm playing Batman, is that the town of St. Petersburg, where he's at, literally sounds like fucking Gotham. Like, there is just constant bad shit happening. And like I said, I'm sure it's based in reality in some ways. Like, he's commenting on real issues. It's just when it's constant suffering and then there's no emotional investment in some of the characters, it gets a bit hard to take the suffering as like, oh, this is awful, instead of just acclimating to it and being like, holy fuck, like, is everybody in Russia just having the worst fucking day ever, every single day, forever? When it comes to like the actual writing of the book, like, not necessarily what's going on, I am enjoying a few things. Mainly being the monologues. Oh, I'm fucking stupid, dude. Holy shit. Mainly being the monologues. Because people talk for like 5 pages straight in this book. Like, it is not a normal book in that regard, where the dialogue is pretty back and forth, and there's flow to it, and it's going for realism. This is much more going for like thought dumping and exposition and 5 pages of straight talking. So in that regard, I do enjoy it, because even though sometimes it gets a bit much, and there are also times where it feels a bit less like a character is talking to me, and more that the author is kind of portraying philosophical insights through a character and using them as kind of a mouthpiece to talk about specific things that he wants to talk about, but not really disguising them in story as much. But I don't know if he's trying to be honest. So I do respect that, because, you know, almost no books, I'm not even talking about at the time, but not a lot of books have 5 pages of monologue specifically. You know what I mean? Oh, did I get here? Oh my god, I got here. Holy shit.
I'll enjoy watching you squirm.
I could fix her.
Yeah, go back. What the hell is that?
Oh my god. Holy fuck. That was amazing. But the actual writing of the monologues, I definitely respect. And I think it's cool to sometimes I feel like when you're reading a monologue that is just going for realism and flow, you sometimes have questions. You're like, oh, what's this person's motivation? Why is this happening? I wonder what led up to that. But you don't really have those questions reading this book because it is literally explained to you in great detail, you know, what this person's family situation is, why they ended up how they did, etc. And I think that's pretty cool. As of now, where I am in the book, I would say that I'm kind of 50-50 because there are some things I like. There are aspects about the murder, about this and that I think are interesting and that keep me invested, but there's also certain things that kill the momentum a little bit and, you know, are a bit of a slog to get through, but I do have hopes for, you know, the rest of the book since I'm only pretty much in the opening sequence. So, you know, I'm pretty hopeful the rest of the book will be interesting, and I'm excited to read it, keep making videos, and keep talking about it. So, yeah, that's about it for today, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.